So right now, what we're going to start out with ArchCast because that was requested, and it's an ArchCast Andrew Tate thing. I've only covered ArchCast once, and I want to say they're barely bigger than me as a channel. Whoa, 40,000 views. That video is popular, so I guess we will.
I hope you'll excuse this little social.
Oh wow, they've grown a lot. They've gone like 20,000 since last time I've looked at them. Are these guys gonna be a problem? I don't need more Chud channels. I really don't. I know. Let's see. Is everything set up? I think everything should be set up. Let me know if you can't hear. So yeah, it's been a while since I covered these guys. They're not. Last time I covered them was just the Obi-Wan Kenobi thing, and they were, obviously they were anti-Obi-Wan Kenobi because, God forbid, anybody say anything marginally positive on Obi-Wan Kenobi. But yeah, we will see what he has to say on Andrew Tate because, well, let's find out. Shit, I barely know anything about this guy. Let's find out. If he says stuff positive about Andrew Tate, that's not going to be good, though.
Outside of my usual wheelhouse, as, I'll be frank, I'll have a hard time tying this back to gaming culture or entertainment, but the Andrew Tate situation, or more correctly, the fact that apparently a bunch of his supporters were carrying out protests in the streets of Athens, has got me rather fascinated. It had me thinking that what society today really needs is some way to legitimize and make socially acceptable again bad behavior before it becomes very bad behavior, really bad behavior, because not all bad behavior is actually bad, of course. This is something that we used to understand and used to know. The old phrase, boys will be boys, now a lambasted saying of toxic masculinity, used to be a catch-all term for the kind of things that young men would engage in. Things like play fighting, or engaging in stupid competitions like holding their breath underwater, or running through the woods, or...
Well, I mean, he's kind of simplifying that. There was lots of really shitty things, like boys will be boys, like sneak into girls' locker rooms. There's lots of shitty things that people would hide under that. I believe Trump's grab them by the pussy comment was put under that banner as well. So, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, maybe don't make excuses for shitty behavior and just recognize the shitty behavior.
Shit like that, And yet, so much of this has been rendered completely socially unacceptable in today's hyper-feminized society, let's come right out and say it, where a lot of the naturally, biologically programmed...
I love how these guys, they really seem to act like women, control everything or something. It's like, dude, white men still have most of the power in the world. What the fuck? It's like, white men have marginally less power, and all of a sudden these guys are fucking flipping a lid, oh my god, we're powerless. It's like, grow the fuck up, you goddamn cope.
Behavior of young men are cracked down on with a 10-ton whip, to the point where there is almost no outlet for their natural tendencies.
Natural tendencies? Dude, that's a loaded term. What are you talking about?
Causing them to look high, low, and desperately around for anything and anyone that allows them to focus this, to have an outlet for it, to speak their language. And that is why, in my opinion, Andrew Tate managed to get dozens of people to march through the streets of Athens demanding his release. Now,
well, the fact is, and I will go ahead and say this. The left has actually done a pretty bad job of doing outreach to young men, and that is partially an issue with the fact that, we're dealing with toxic masculinity, which is an issue. But the problem is, one thing that we have a tendency to kind of ignore, and we should be addressing it better, is the fact that toxic masculinity is negative towards men, not just women, but also to men as well. It's an issue we have to deal with and address fairly, because I feel like the right has taken it and said, no, toxic masculinity is good, you're vilifying men being men, and that's not it. That is, quite frankly, defending bad behavior. That is all that is.
A bit of a counter-argument immediately.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to anything he said specifically about Andrew Tate, but if you don't know, yeah, Andrew Tate is a complete fucking monster. He's arrested for what's the term? I can't think of the term. It's essentially trading women. God damn it, what's the term? I'm brain farting. No, we're gonna look it up. Fuck it. We'll just go ahead and do a little deep dive into Andrew Tate real fast and see what we can come up with. Trafficking, human trafficking, yes. Thank you. So let's go into Andrew Tate here a little bit. Criminal investigations. What's he currently under arrest for? On April 11th, 2022, a man called U.S. Embassy to report that his former girlfriend, an American citizen, was being held captive in the Tate brothers' home in Pabera, Romania. The Romanian police raided the home and a nearby webcam studio belonging to the Tates, where they discovered 4 women. 2 of them, the American and another Russian woman, told the police that they are being held against their will, sparking an in rem investigation into human trafficking and rape by DICOT, the Romanian anti-organized crime agency. The 2 brothers were interrogated and released. At the time, they were heard as witnesses rather than suspects. On December 29, 2022, the police arrested both Tate brothers and 2 women, all four suspected of human trafficking and forming an organized crime group, and one of them, unidentified due to Romanian law, is suspected of rape. DICOT accuses, maybe DICOT, it's awful, DIICOT, accuses the Tates of having recruited women through the lover boy method, which consists of misrepresenting one's intention to commit to a romantic relationship and having forced them to create explicit content for websites like OnlyFans. As part of an organized crime group, the Tates allegedly formed in early 2021. DIICOT, God, this is a mouthful too, identified 6 potential victims. Social media rumors basically attributed Andrew Tate's arrest to pizza boxes shown in response to the video to Greta Thunberg. That'd be me as well. Which Romanian authorities denied. After an initial 24-hour pre-trial detention, the judge prolonged their detention by 30 days. The Tates appealed the extension, but the appeal was rejected on January 10th. Under Romanian law, it can be prolonged for a maximum of 180 days. At an unspecified date in December, the Tate brothers filed a cease and desist and threatened legal action against one of the accusers. I think we've read enough. These guys are monsters. Jesus Christ. Jesus. Let's see what the ArchCast has to say.
Andrew Tate is currently held under arrest in Romania, which... Don't ask me, okay? I barely understand this either, but the thing is, it is difficult enough to get you, yes, you, I'm saying you there, to click the like button on a YouTube video, okay? And so to be able to get dozens of people to show up in person in the middle of the night and protest for your release in the streets of a major city, that is an achievement. That is unusual. That is an exception to the norm. And bear in mind too, this wasn't an enormous protest. There wasn't 1,000 people in the streets. They weren't...
I mean, I feel like I already addressed this. There's lots of lonely young men out there, and the way the right wing addresses them is essentially, hey, there's lots of women out there, and the reason they don't like you is because you're too cool for them. You're a Sigma male, or follow my easy tips and you'll get women to like you. It's all this weird, honestly, scam stuff. Quite frankly, if anybody says, hey, pay me money and I'll teach you how to hook up with women, that person's lying to you. That's not how this works. The trick is, honestly, if you want to approach women, treat them like human beings. Treat them like anybody else. And then if you click, you click. And if you don't, you don't. That's all there is to it. It's that simple. And Andrew Tate's kind of channeled all these young men into this group, and he's got them to pay a lot of money to him for his bullshit.
hundreds of supporters marching in lockstep with lit torches,
Yes, actual Fandom Tate has a lot of 12-year-old boy fans, I'm sure. Yeah, hit like if you're against sex trafficking.
demanding the release of Andrew Tate from the Greek government.
Why is he laughing every time he talks about Tate being arrested? Is this some sort of subtle messaging? I mean, we just read the dude's a sex trafficker. Jesus Christ, he was making women do fucking OnlyFans for him. What are you laughing about, bro?
Again, don't ask me, but the point is, this is highly unusual.
I mean, this seems like he doesn't want to actually address the issue, but he's like skirting around it, and he doesn't want to address the issue because Tate's a fucking monster, but he wants to skirt around it, be like, I'm not gonna say I'm for Andrew Tate, but why is he under arrest? It's really fucked up shit, dude.
And shows a great deal of dedication to Andrew Tate, okay? So, who is Andrew Tate? What has he done to inspire this kind of loyalty? Well, I'm not going to comment too much on the criminal charges because I haven't done enough research to really get in and make an educated opinion on it, but best case scenario, Andrew Tate appears to be a bit of a bloviating asshole. A braggart, you might even say. The shit he said has been spicy, certainly, and perhaps not as articulate as one might like, but it certainly is the kind of stuff that does speak to young boys. And worst case scenario, he is a human trafficking rapist. Which is pretty bad. Again, I'm not going to comment too much on it, but he was arrested on charges of having trafficked several girls that he was turning out as cam girls living on his compound in Romania. Which were not allowed to leave.
Why is he laughing about this? I find it really bizarre. He's talking about like terrible crimes and he's like snickering under his breath about it. It's kind of fucked up. Like, dude, what's up?
They weren't allowed to go to the club without him and so on, and he's talked about this in his video, so that seems confirmable.
Yeah, Wallace and Gromit fan, it's not that he kind of is, but like not. Like, obviously he's saying, hey, this is bad stuff, but he's like snickering about it. He's like putting an underlying theme behind it that, this stuff isn't bad, or, this, it's not as bad as they're making out. It's really kind of fucked up.
Enough. So, best case scenario, bit of an asshole douchebag, a bit of a bloviating braggart. Worst case scenario, actual sex trafficking.
Yeah, why does he laugh when the actual crime comes up? Like, they arrested him. They have evidence of this shit. They found women at his residence. This is bad, bro.
Criminal. Why did this guy get this much of a following? How the hell did he inspire this kind of loyalty? Well, here's the thing. What other, big money, this guy is economically successful, absolutely. He's had $4 million worth of assets seized by the Romanian police. He owned several sports cars. He had dozens of girlfriends. He was living the riches and bitches lifestyle, no doubt about it. And he was a previous professional kickboxer, speaking to the violent tendencies as well. The guy is absolutely a male role model, but not a...
Oh my god, bro. Bro, you're just gonna talk about, he has lots of cars, so he's a male role model, ignoring the fact that he's a fucking sex trafficker. I mean, holy crap, bro.
Particularly good one, so surely there are better male role models out there, right? Right?
Yeah, almost anybody. Like, literally. Like, anybody who's not a sex trafficker would be a better male role model. Like, that's a ridiculously low bar, bro. This is kind of amazing. I mean, holy shit. This subtext of, it's not that bad. Fuck. Oh my god, this is disgusting.
Oh, that's the thing. Who? Genuine question. Now, you've got some esoteric entities, sure, but... what this guy is offering is the unapologetic pro-male position, right? And back when I was growing up, this was all over the place. You had Arnold Schwarzenegger carrying out ridiculous action scenes, killing hundreds of people with rocket launchers on the television.
He's equating sex trafficking to action movies right now. What am I even watching? What the fuck is that argument? Arnold Schwarzenegger blows up guys with a fucking rocket launcher, therefore Andrew Tate is a sex trafficker, and it's the same? What? That's the dumbest argument I've ever heard in my life, bro.
You had rock music, you had metal, you had Starship Troopers, you had, even for younger kids, right, you had Batman and superheroes on the television beating the shit out of bad guys.
And fun fact, none of those guys were sex traffickers. So, yeah.
Gave us that kind of outlet.
Why are you even equating someone like Andrew Tate to, like, fucking fictional action heroes? That is a fucked up thing to do. Why would you do that? This guy is messed up. Holy shit.
And it showed us that these behaviors aren't actually all that abnormal. Whereas today, what do people got? What, Steven,
those behaviors... No, actually, the action movie behaviors are pretty abnormal. That's why they're action movies. Does this guy understand anything? This is like... Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh. Apparently there's something noteworthy on Discord. Oh, yes. Yeah, I'll bring that up after. That's a good one, though.
Universe? The Rings of Power, add on dear, the modern day male icon. The Wheel of Times, the matriarchal power fantasy. Like, what outlets do they actually have?
So, you're talking about movies with male action leads. Well, I just had up, let's see. Too bad there's not any movies with male action leads. What was the number one movie last week? Oh yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp and Quantumania. That definitely doesn't have a male action lead, so you know. So yeah, let's bring up recent, like, oh god, this guy's gonna drive me nuts. Okay, recent movies with male action leads. Well, here, let's just pull up old time, because most of the old time, the top stuff on old time's gonna be more recent with inflation. So, alright, Avatar, 2009, male action lead. Avengers Endgame, 2019, male action lead. Avatar, Way of Water, just a couple months ago, male action lead. Titanic's not action. Well, you know, there's a female action lead, number 5. That's the first one. Avengers Infinity War, 2018, male action lead. Spider-Man No Way Home, 2022, or 2021, male action lead. Jurassic World, 2015, male action lead. It's almost like we still have plenty of movies with male action leads, and maybe, just maybe, even if we had a lack of movies with male action leads, it doesn't justify freaking sex trafficking.
What people are there speaking to this particular demographic? There are very few, if any, and hell, even the philosophers of the right wing, right? You've got people who are basically saying, oh, don't watch porn, that's bad for you. Don't do anything to excess, you gotta work out all the time, Jesus is watching.
Yeah. There's some people on the left that say don't watch porn, but, like, primarily the anti-porn crowd is mostly on the right wing, which would be more aligned with Andrew Tate, bro. Yeah, that's insane. Nobody endorses that, and, like, just saying there's some people that say that doesn't excuse Andrew Tate for sex trafficking. Like, he really doesn't want to actually address the sex trafficking. Just bring it up briefly and then go over this other stuff that is fucking irrelevant to the case.
Like, these aren't gonna attract the rebellious young kids either. And even if we assume, so they will go to whatever person will offer it, right? Even if we assume that Andrew Tate has done everything wrong, he's a terrible human being, okay, but if he's the only product on the market, well, they're gonna...
Only product on the market for what? What, just teenage boys? Yeah, I mean, I already made the case that, like, right wing's making more of an attempt to get the teenage boys than left wing, and that is an issue. But that doesn't justify anything Andrew Tate did. And let's face it, if he was just conning young men out of their money and not doing sex trafficking and just conning young men out of their money, which there are other guys that do that, there wouldn't be a whole lot to get him on. But the fact is, he's a sex trafficker, and you're out here just fucking dancing around that shit. This is getting disgusting, bro.
I'm gonna go where the supply is, unsurprisingly so. And this is society's problem at this point. In a more functional society, this guy would, in my opinion, probably be viewed as the pickup artist of old. They would have an audience, absolutely. They would have a following, a few of them at least, some of them even sizable ones. But they would be viewed as a bit weird, pickup artist. What?
I think overall as a society, Andrew Tate is viewed as being weird, and lots of pickup artists are viewed as being weird. Just because he can get some people to follow him, that those people that will follow him and do a protest to him is an infinitesimal percentage of the entire world. My God, bro.
Excuse me? But since there are no other options, and any and all out...
There are lots of other options. I mean, your whole fucking counter-argument was that there aren't male action leads in movies anymore, which, by the way, there are plenty of those, and why would that be an alternative to Andrew Tate? And Andrew Tate, like I just said, if he was just conning young men out of their money and giving them bad tips to pick up women, that would be, like, one thing. And, it'd probably be hard to get him on that one. But he was a sex trafficker, so this is really messed up. My God.
Outlets have been cracked down upon already to the point of near non-existence. All of the other alternatives have already been cancelled and or banned. In fact,
I mean, fuck. Like, your argument right now is that, hey, Andrew Tate is fine because young men need an outlet? What the fuck, man? Jesus Christ. Oh. This guy's a problem, and he's growing in subs. I think he had, I almost didn't cover him for the Obi-Wan thing, because he had, 40,000 subs, and I was like, it's kind of smaller, but okay, I'll cover him. Now he's at 60,000, and he's doing shit like this, and I notice his production value's gone up significantly, which is a little sad, but okay. Jesus. Ugh.
In fact, the pickup artists have too, as has Andrew Tate, mind you. Well, you don't have a whole lot of alternatives. And then you can look at the opposite side of it, right? We are also in a society that allows shit like this, where you've got people calling for the beheading of women, and it is perfectly okay, because they're a group that we allow.
Well, that I doubt they mean that literally, but, yeah, okay, I'm against literally decapitating and eating TERFs. I'm against that. But you know what? TERFs fucking suck, too.
How to do this. Toxic femininity is rampant in today's society. You've got menstruation paintings. You've got shout your abortion. Women are allowed to do the most heinous shit.
Shout your abortion. I've not heard of shout your abortion. But I imagine the idea behind that would be to kind of normalize it and not stigmatize it as much, so that women that need it or probably should have an abortion don't feel as, trapped within the confines of society. That's almost certainly the intent of something like that. But I haven't even heard of something like this. So I'm, guessing an intent of something that I've not even heard of, that you, knowing the basis of what you've already said in this video, might just be pulling out of your ass.
Imaginable, and it will be up.
Yeah, no, I didn't know to say anything, but yeah, he always is stretching out and rolling the fuck out of those R's, and I'm not sure why.
Applauded. It will be met with a standing ovation. I'm sure many of you have seen the commercials, right? For underwear, for example, for bras, where they have pictures of bunches of old, fat, and ugly chicks, all bouncing around doing something. Is like, look, we're
fat and ugly chicks. Okay, do I need to explain this guy that, everybody has different preferences, and, perhaps there's more to women than just physical appearance? Fucking hell.
for everybody. And I'm like, I get it, I understand, but that's not what men get. There is no commercial with fat, ugly dudes in boxer shorts. There is no commercial.
But yeah, there's plenty of TV series and movies that will star fat, ugly dudes, so I think they're doing okay.
With enormous obese dudes in dress in suits, you know, going like, oh, buy this suit, it'll make you more of a man. No, there's nothing like that. Toxic femininity.
I mean, I'm kind of okay with the fat guys having commercials too. What?
See?
I mean, this is all like doing this fucking reach around for Andrew Tate, essentially. This is insane.
Is everywhere. It is accepted. It is pushed and celebrated. But for men, even the most basic stuff, like play fighting, is viewed as just this abhorrent behavior.
It is? I didn't know that. That's news to me. I suspect you're just pulling that out of your ass. Like, I guess, like, if you get too violent, then yeah, but like, just kids, like, wrestling or something, yeah, that's fine.
Sick masculinity must be slapped down upon immediately.
These guys just make boogeymans out of everything. The fucking crybabies, fuck.
So, unsurprisingly, you get people flocking to the extremes, as they are, well, starved of this. And then you got an individual that seems to be offering, again, everything that the young man wants. Lots of cash, cool cars, a kickboxing career, and dozens of women who are waiting on him hand and foot, the full-on alpha male illusion.
And he's talking like that's the reason he's locked up. That is not the reason he's locked up, bro. Like, put all that shit aside, and I think that shit gets pretty cringe pretty quickly. He's locked up because he was committing crimes of sex trafficking, dude.
Etc. Yeah, he's gonna get an audience. Now, whether or not it's that big of one, who knows? I saw one tweet I found rather funny, which popped up in our super secret Discord conspiracy chat, basically saying this is why Andrew Tate is the most dangerous man alive, because he is mobilizing young men, a group that has been neglected by everybody else. And as the post also said, who is it that starts revolutions? Well, young men. And hey, you know what? There's a point there. There absolutely is. It wouldn't be the first time a revolutionary kicked up a fuss to gloss over certain indiscretions, legally speaking, in their past, absolutely. And again, mobilizing young men is the way you could create social reform through good old-fashioned violence. Now, I do not think...
Good old-fashioned... Dude, this is so cringe, man.
By any stretch of the imagination that Andrew Tate is anywhere near that level, nor do I expect he is going to arrive at it.
Then why are you bringing it up? What the fuck is your point? You just spent this whole video essentially saying, hey, I'm not supporting Andrew Tate, but yeah, no, I'm supporting him. This is totally messed up.
But if we continue to suppress the natural urges of young men, keep telling them that they are monsters for simply having these biologically programmed emotions, then we might actually arrive at that point. Because here's the thing too. The true danger, as I've said years ago, isn't Andrew Tate. It isn't Richard Spencer.
Well, here's the deal. For the women who were victims of Andrew Tate, yes, he was the real problem.
It isn't people like these. These are easy to see through facades. Like Andrew Spencer got completely cancelled because his mad-ass rant leaked, of course. He's basically now a non-entity. The alt-right has completely collapsed because it wasn't intelligent. It wasn't smart. It didn't have its leader. But
yeah, here you are preaching about the alt-right, so good job.
Imagine for a second, if somebody comes around like, well, straight up, the Hitler kind of character. The person with complete ideological conviction that also has the gift of charisma, the ability to speak, the ability to rile up the crowd, the ability to mobilize people. Imagine if that person came around, and he's a 1 in a million character as well. You can say a lot of mean things about Hitler, but he was a talented individual in what he chose to do. It was just that he was a...
Yeah, Whitney, I think I agree. He does want to be Andrew Tate, it appears.
Bit of a horrible thing. What if that individual comes around and sees the fact that there are millions and millions of disenfranchised young men all across the world, fighting age men that have been straight up oppressed throughout their entire pretty much lives at this point, who have been told that they are
Crawling Chaos, this is the ArchCast. I covered one of his Obi-Wan videos a long time ago, so this is literally the second time I've seen him. And in this video, he is defending Andrew Tate. You know, he's saying, he's doing the standard stuff. He's saying, hey, listen, Andrew Tate's bad. So, you know, and crimes are bad. But isn't he also awesome? That's his argument in a nutshell in this video. It's messed up.
Monsters. They're horrible people for having these feelings, these basic emotions, these basic natural inclinations. And here comes a guy and says, hey, you know what? That isn't actually bad. That's actually great. You should actually embrace that and follow me, of course. That is when we actually get to something dangerous. And again, I don't think Andrew Tate is that guy. I don't think there is such a guy at the moment, and God willing, there won't be one either, as, well, highly charismatic and remarkable leaders of that nature tends to lead to periods of instability. Interesting times, as they say. But the best way to avoid this is, of course, to simply say, okay, well, boys will in fact be boys. Now, whether or not we're going to be heading in that direction anytime soon either, I see no indication of it, so we'll have to wait and see, but this is absolutely a failure of our society. We have not been able to embrace the lesser evil, and so now we are beginning to see the shadow of the greater.
It's not a failure, like embrace the lesser evil. No, it's not like embracing the lesser evil. It's properly handling the lesser evil. Because that's the thing that I feel like it gets ignored. Toxic masculinity isn't an issue with men. Well, it's not really an issue with men. It's an issue of society that needs to be addressed. The ideas that men should act and behave a certain way. These are the type of ideas that need to be eroded. Because they're not healthy for the people around the men, and they're not healthy for the men. And I'm not saying, society is great for people outside of men as well. There's issues all around for everybody. And it's all about just addressing those issues, which you seem to think we should just embrace it because what the fuck? Because yay, Andrew Tate, it seems like you really want to say, but you're not saying.
Evil. Because again, a basic outlet of, say, a kickboxing gym, for example, for young boys is not a negative outlet at all. In fact, it can be a highly positive one. Youth clubs, for example, again, a highly positive potential outlet. Teaching young people about fornication, etc. Again, a positive thing, as, well, teenagers are horny animals. Straight up. And telling them to simply just not...
Very few people are telling them to just not. That's not a common thing, dude.
It's a difficult ask, as it turns out, and so making sure that they're properly informed is a better way out, giving them information.
And yes, and what is the side that is against properly informing them? It's the right wing. Oh my god. Fuck.
Allowing for outlets via other things as well, because if they're tired out of their minds after youth camp training, they're going to be less horny and so on. The point is...
Yeah, no, it seems like he is arguing for a pro-sex education stance right now, which is not really something that the side he's been advocating for is really for. So, that's the thing. If these... people like this, if they don't have contradictions, they don't have anything to say.
Bad behavior, again, is not necessarily negative or harmful behavior, so long as it is allowed an outlet for it. And if we can provide that, we are going to avoid the negative consequences.
Okay, it's almost like his argument right now is that men just need to do bad things every once in a while. And let's say that's bullshit, because that is. Men don't need to just do bad things every once in a while. It's just that, and that's the thing, like, God, I didn't even realize that. He's saying that men every once in a while need to do bad things, which is kind of an admission that toxic masculinity is bad, which is an interesting admission from someone like him. It's almost like his whole argument's bullshit.
And it's the same for toxic femininity as well, as we have more than amply seen in the modern day society. But again, that has every outlet in the world, whereas the opposite does not. I'd love to hear what you think about this down the.
I think you are a piece of shit for doing this coded. I'm not for Andrew Tate, but yeah, no, I'm kind of for Andrew Tate. And as for, like, the Hitler analogy was a weird one for sure, because I'm not sure how we get from Hitler to Andrew Tate, but, like, the closest thing we had to Hitler was probably something like Trump, who was kind of an American Hitler. Not quite there yet, but, we're seeing the ideas, and, like, Trump was a kind of a prolific figure where people were all about, being an ideologue, or just worshiping him, essentially, which is a little disturbing. But let me go ahead and pull up Dane's meme on Andrew Tate. It's a good one. And so whenever you think of Andrew Tate, I want you to just think of this. Think of that, because that's who Andrew Tate is. He is that's an alpha male for you. So yeah, I don't know why you would pay money to teach this guy, have this guy teach you anything, because he clearly doesn't know anything. But yeah, fuck ArchCast, Jesus Christ. Just bad news. I'll probably have to look at him more. He's growing fast. Fuck.
Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me shallow. It's the